Things haven't changed much in the last 20 years at Quebec's Corporation des Médecins. Complaints against doctors are still investigated under the same system that was in place in the 1970s. In several other provinces and many states, there are new laws, new attitudes, a new approach to dealing with complaints of sexual misconduct by doctors. Augustin Roy says Quebec hasn't made any major changes because it hasn't had to.
But Roy's system came under scrutiny last fall. There was outrage over the way the Corp handled the case of psychiatrist Hector Warnes. The psychiatrist was practicing at a Montreal hospital even though he had lost his license to practice in Ontario. An Ontario disciplinary committee found Hector Warnes sexually exploited one of his patients. The committee said he was unfit to practice psychiatry, but not by Quebec standards. He had a license to practice here and was welcomed by Sacré-Cœur Hospital.
By consistently coming to the defense and using every imaginable argument possible to defend the worst offenders like Hector Warnes, unfortunately, those responsible at the Corporation des Médecins are throwing discredit on all the profession. And in fact,
Thomas Mulcair runs the office that supervises the province's professional organizations.
In this case, they were caught in such a flagrant case of error on their part, egregious failure to protect the public, that they just used every conceivable excuse. And the first excuse was they just couldn't do anything about it. That's turned out to, of course, not be true. They have decided to take him to discipline.
And that's when Warnes fled to South America.
Take this case. A doctor gets a 2-month suspension for sexual misconduct. 10 years later, he gets caught once again. One of the charges this time is for fondling a 15-year-old during an examination. The Corporation des Médecins says he deserves, quote, one last chance. They suspend him for 6 months and give him a fine.
There are other cases where the name of the doctor has been withheld from the public, even though the general rule is that the public has a right to know, obviously, who these people are. In some of those cases, they'll tell us that the reason that they're holding back the name is because his wife holds a position of responsibility in the community. Come on, in some of these cases, we're talking about people who have admitted that they are repeat sexual offenders with their patients.
Mulcair wants Quebec to do like other provinces, change the law to forbid sex between doctors and patients.
Well, I mean, maybe we don't reason like English-speaking people.